Hi, this is Nick Williams with Mike Dooley. Hi, Mike.
Hey, Nick, how are you?
Great, fantastic. I'm so thrilled to be talking to you because we kind of talked off camera about this, Nick, and said let's talk about it. You know, a lot of people look at people that they regard as successful and think those people obviously didn't have fears, they didn't have insecurities, they didn't have resistance, because look at what they're doing. And I think that's one of the biggest myths that stops a lot of people claiming their own success in a way, because they look at other people and go, they obviously don't have fear and resistance, and self-questioning. You know, what's your take on that?
Wow, very observant. You know, it's funny because just recently, my mother, my biggest fan and best friend, she said, Mike, I really admire your courage. And I'm like, my courage? That's maybe the one thing that I never had. I don't have any courage. Today, of course, it's a different story, because today I've been doing what I'm doing now for 8-9 years, and the courage has come. But in the beginning, my gosh, I was so petrified of speaking to an audience that I had to join Toastmasters, and I shook like a leaf on a tree when I gave my first icebreaker talk. It only had to last 4 minutes, and the audience was 11 people, but I shook like a leaf on a tree. And years, plural, years into my Toastmasters experience, I remember thinking during a meeting, when will I ever get over the fear? I was still petrified years after speaking to the same 11 people every single week. But I still did it. I still entered contests. I still went beyond Toastmasters and started speaking at Rotary clubs and then small unity churches. It wasn't that I didn't have fears. It's that I pressed on in spite of them. That's all you got to do.
That's so good, because anybody listening to this, you know, I think what I want to get across is, if you are experiencing tremendous fear and, you know, anxiety about doing something that's really close to your heart, don't worry about that in a way. You know, it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. It doesn't mean...
It means you're normal. It means you're right where you're supposed to be.
Yeah, but I think it's a message that so many people don't give. It's like, you know, so many people are the gurus, or they know what they're doing, and people think, oh, they've obviously not had the human frailties that most of us have had. And I think there's, I don't know what your experience is, let me ask you this. My experience is almost the closer something is to your heart, the more fear and resistance you are likely to experience around it. Is that your experience?
Oh, yeah, especially in the beginning of an adventure, a career-based adventure, because this is what everything seems to hinge on. You know, your future happiness, your future abundance, your relationships. And so all of the pressure is on. But when you understand that you're not alone, that you are part of a much bigger force, that the universe conspires on your behalf, if you just, as you put it, show up, then the universe can connect the dots, and it can do all kinds of work for you behind the scenes. Things and miracles that you don't get to perceive with your physical senses. Only in hindsight, having tread the trail you've tread for a year or 2 or 9, you can look back and you can think, oh my gosh, I was never alone. And the things that I thought were impossible would have been, had I been alone, but there was magic. There were miracles. There were serendipities galore.
Things being pulled everywhere.
Yeah, but you don't see it when they're being pulled, which can make people draw false conclusions that it's not working, it works for everyone else but me, I must not believe I'm worthy. If people start drawing those kind of conclusions, those kind of ideas become their reality, and they create barriers where there had been none. So just show up, be present, and move forward, and you will be joined with a force much bigger than yourself.
And know that there's nothing wrong with you for feeling fear, because I think a lot of people judge themselves for feeling fear or anxious and insecure. Or, so one, they do that, or two, they tend to say, well, when I don't feel the fear, when it's gone away, then I'll start. When I feel more confident, when I feel like I've got enough talent, then I'll start. And they could die waiting for my experience.
Mine too, and that includes virtually everybody in my audiences. There's that misconception that I had it easier than them, or that other people have had it easier. And it's like, you don't have to have even clarity. You don't have to know what you want to do with the rest of your life. You don't have to know how you're going to do it. Just have an end result, let it be general, and start doing stuff. And by design, the stuff you do will serve you one way or another, even if it feels like failure at the time.
So can I ask you one question? Because I know the thing I still experience resistance around sometimes is talking about divinity. And I know it's at the heart of what you talk about. Did you have big resistance about talking about divinity, or was that?
Oh, wow, good question. I only have resistance to the degree that I think perhaps some of my listeners or readers might consider it blasphemous. But no, I've never had a problem talking about that. To me, it's such a patently obvious truth of life that we are God, divine, of the universe, pure universe, that it's so self-evident that I don't have that qualm.
Right. Well, thank you for being an inspiration and being able to be so open about that, because I think that is part of what's made you successful. Is you come from that starting point. We touched on it in something else, but you come from that starting point.
Thanks.
Whereas most religions or spirituality, it's like you can get there. You're saying start from there.
Yeah. We're already divine, and we've already been creating our entire life. Every watcher or listener right now is a natural-born creator, a supernatural-born creator. And it's just that now, finally, we're waking up mid-dream in the jungles of time and space. And lo and behold, we've been creating all along. And the great news about that is no one has to learn how to make their thoughts become things. They just have to realize that they do. They do automatically. And so for you, it's just a matter of changing the focus that you have and not beating yourself up because you sometimes have fleeting, negative, worrisome thoughts. Thoughts of lack, abundance, or illness. I have them. We all have them. But we are inclined to succeed. We set the stage. We created this bastion of order in the universe, and we did so with one reason in mind: to thrive, to kick butt, to have a great time. And so the stage is tilted in a favor that will serve you. You can think 18 hours of misery and horrible thoughts each day, but if you think 5 or 10 minutes during your visualization of abundance, glory, and bliss, my life experience, and the crises that I've been through, which are no less daunting than yours, and no less in number than yours, have always been ridden out, and it's borne out my concept that our positive thoughts are 10,000 times more powerful than our negative thoughts, just for the fact that you think that. So it's not like we're here, Nick, with a 50-50 chance of survival, which is the way most people look at life.
No, but I guess, my belief and understanding of spiritual truth is we were created happy, we were created at peace,
exactly.
We were created joyful. That has the power of the universe behind it.
Yes.
Whereas fear is the erroneous thought that actually really has no basis other than our own thinking.
It's like,
it has no spiritual force behind it.
That's beautiful. It's just like they say, it takes a lot more muscles to frown than it does to smile. And it takes a lot more effort to fail than to succeed, especially when you know the truth about your divinity and the fact that all of the elements conspire on your behalf. When you understand this truth, and you're not pulling the rug out from under your feet by giving your power away to a God that exists outside of you, or to karma, or to ancient spiritual contracts, when you're not giving away your power, it's like you can't be stopped. Just show up every day, knock on new doors, and it shall be done.
Thank you so much. We're getting so inspired having this conversation. Thank you for watching. I hope you're enjoying it. Cheers.